Man, I clicked go live. Hey, there we go. Tried to catch me by surprise, Isaiah.
That's what it was. That's
Once
what it
again,
was.
people, welcome back. This is the Money Machine podcast, Unloaded,
Let's
season
go.
2.1, man. And as usual, y'all know we have to get in here. So y'all come on in, sit down,
Yeah,
relax,
yeah, yeah. We got to
get
get them on
comfortable.
in.
We got a great show today. We have a guest on, y'all, and as always, y'all, we like to talk generational wealth, real
Yeah,
generational wealth. You know, it's a fake generational wealth idea of generational wealth floating around, and we got to get y'all away from that.
yeah.
We're
It's
gonna
a
get
lot of
y'all the
stuff.
facts and the realness. So, Isaiah, how you doing over there, brother?
Man, I'm doing very well, man. I'm getting better. Had a few medical procedures happen, man, to the knee, had a hernia, so the stomach area, all that other crazy stuff, man, and just patching myself back together, man. But it's good to talk to you. It's good to see you, man. I ain't been out, hadn't seen the sun in a little bit, just been laying around preparing to exchange some information, man. So I'm excited about today and what we got going for you, everyone. So we really want to see a lot of different perspectives in the chat today. We want to see people jump in. We want to see them engage, and I'm excited about it.
Hey, that sounds great, man. I'm over here. I ain't gonna lie, Zay, I'm a little drowsy over here. We need y'all to tap in, people. We talking about the digital bag as always and how to get it,
Man, I need
the
a nap
real
too.
steps, how to make real generational wealth.
Real.
And I'm a little, I'm a little. I called me a couple of Z's, Isaiah, before the show, and I don't know if I should have did that.
Hey, look, it's the weekend. You got to take advantage of the times you can. As an entrepreneur, man, you up, down, left, right, moving, just doing everything you can to support the people you support and increase network and net worth. So I know it's tough just to jump up and be like, let's go. But hey, that's where
Got to
we
do
at.
it.
You had to get that now. Had to get that now.
Well, people, like I say today, we talking about the digital bag, and we want y'all to chime in. The digital bag, the old digital bag. It was somebody asked me one time, Isaiah, what is the digital bag? And when you hear that word, brother Isaiah, what does that kind of
The digital bag. When I hear
the
the digital
digital
bag,
bag, the
hey, let me tell
digital?
you. Let me tell you my first impression of the digital bag. Let me be honest. Let me be honest.
We gonna tell
Uh,
y'all how to get it in 1 second.
yeah, but years ago, I was playing with the stock markets. I was playing with all these different stocks, right? And so I was like, let me jump in easy. Let me get some penny stock. So I went in and I got this penny stock, man, and I bought this penny stock. I'm talking about a whole bunch of it. I spent thousands on it. And
Okay.
I ran into some tough times and things like that. I was like, man, this stuff ain't nothing generating on this stock. Let me go ahead and cash out, get this money, and utilize it for what I need. Well, let me tell you what happened. One year, this coin called Dogecoin, right?
Heard that. Heard
Dogecoin
that.
blows up, and I had all this stock. I would have been a millionaire, man. I would have been a millionaire with Dogecoin, but I decided that I was gonna cash out. Ain't that crazy?
Oh man, so you died the you I don't know if you died the digital bag and you just gave it away, brother.
I gave it away. Hey, dodge it. I gave it away. But I mean, look so what I'm saying though is like sometimes we get into tough situations and circumstances, and it causes us to make incoherent decisions, man. It makes us use our money in a manner or make decisions that naturally can cause us some issues. What did I have the foresight? Did I know that Dogecoin was going to explode like that? Nah, I didn't know. But it happened, and like hindsight 2020, right? If I would have known, would have kept it. I would be in a
Well,
different situation.
let's say if was a fifth, we'd all
Man,
be drunk, brother.
but that's
Today,
the
y'all, like
biggest.
I said, we gonna tell y'all some real steps on how to get the digital bag. But first of all, we gotta discuss what is the digital bag. What is the digital bag to you people?
Yeah,
We'd
yeah,
like to have y'all perspective, y'all comment. We can pop y'all on the screen.
yeah, yeah.
I got
We
a
got a
guy
special.
who, we ain't gonna pop that on the screen. He over here, he doing inside jokes. Kenneth Washington, tap in, baby. We need
Hey, but
we
yeah,
need your perspective, y'all.
we got a special guest today too. We got a special guest today. We're gonna bring on
We do.
too. So we want to make sure everybody jump in and just kind of share your perspective, your insight, and your imagination. What's that? That's the pie. And guess what? My guy likes pie. Your piece of the
I like
pie
pie,
is very valuable.
And the digital bag, y'all, let's go on and get this on the table. The digital bag can be multiple things.
Yeah, yeah.
We got somebody just tapped in. Deshaun Good says
Welcome.
he's learning YouTube. Hey,
Hey,
that is a part of the
you on the
digital
way.
bag.
You on the way.
You on the way, brother. And my perspective of digital bag, people, it's real generational wealth.
Yeah, come on.
That's what we're talking about today, people. The digital
Let's break
bag
it
can
out.
be in different forms, but it leads to real generational wealth. And that's what we're here to tell y'all. We're going to give y'all a couple of tips on getting it. And we got a special guest. So y'all make sure to chime in. What are you doing to get the digital bag? What is
Hey,
your definition of the digital bag? What is
yeah,
generational wealth to you?
yeah, yeah. So that's a big question. That's the big question. What is generational wealth? And we know there's a lot of information circulating around talking about generational wealth. But let me be honest. Let me be very frank. All these crazy things is fluctuating. All this stuff is going to fail. It's going to cause you some issues. But one of the things we do know, and it's very consistent, is that generational wealth is the information we pass down. These exchanges that we make on a day-to-day basis that gets not only to us, they not only impact our lives for the better, but it also get to our children. So whenever we build those barriers and prevent our children from learning information, prevent our children from growing and things like that, we're stopping generational wealth. That means we got to get that information out to them. We got to make sure that it flows. And that's what we're doing today, helping individuals access that generational wealth, that information, that digital bag, my guy. Hey,
Deshaun,
it
I'm
looked like
about
you
to ask
waking
you
up.
that, Deshaun. The guy, my partner, Deshaun say he's learning YouTube. People, he say he promote his full wrestling shows from NTW Wrestling,
Okay.
North Texas Wrestling, just trying to learn to make a profit off the views and comments. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, that's
So
what's up.
I guess we
What's
can
up?
guess that your YouTube is NTW North
Hold on,
Texas
man.
Wrestling. I think
I would like,
y'all put y'all YouTubes in the comment if y'all watching. What are
hold
you
on,
doing
man.
to get the
Hold
digital
on, man.
bag?
Who is that,
Huh?
Deshaun? I would like to know a little bit more about that. We gonna have to bring Mr. Deshaun on, man. You talking about some wrestling? Hey, that bring out the youth in me. You know what I'm saying? It
That
brings
was
out the youth in me. North Texas. That's right here where I'm at. So it's definitely that's the business right there. That's what's up. That's
the
what's up.
digital bag, people. We gonna give y'all a couple of real steps to get the digital bag, and there's options. Y'all
It's
know we like talking options. And
definitely
as
option.
always, we're here to have conversations that need to be had to get to the digital bag.
Yep, yep.
So
What type of
okay, so
conversation?
his YouTube is North Texas Wrestling. Y'all make sure to follow North Texas Wrestling on YouTube. We're talking about the digital bag, people.
Yeah, that's game.
Generational wealth. What is y'all definition of generational wealth? We would like to
I
know.
would definitely, I would like to know some more definitions of generational wealth because it's something that sprung up, man, really, really quick over the last 10 years. We saw everybody talking about generational wealth. One of the things they
Yeah.
talk about is the Rothschilds. They talk about all these different people who have been extremely wealthy for a long time. And what they say is systems, right? They say it's some systems. They say
Mm-hmm.
is information that they're passing along or utilizing with their family and they're adhering to that information. My question would be, hey, if you got some information and is generating wealth for you, what are you doing to transfer that information to others? And what tools are you using? Like, what tools are
Yeah.
you actually using?
That's a good question. And for me, y'all, this generational wealth thing, like I say, it's a lot of people talking it, but y'all know me. I love technology and I'm passionate about getting my people to realize consuming of information like this is a part of the digital bag, people. We all got green lights at the digital bag. People comment. What is y'all definition of the digital bag? Make sure to
Yeah, let
subscribe
us
to our
know.
YouTube. Because yeah, we
So,
need y'all perspective on this.
so right now, Mr. Deshaun said building a dynasty is generational wealth.
I
Building a
like that.
dynasty. A dynasty. When I think about dynasties, I used to try to play video games back in the day. And I was in college, man, and I played this game called Dynasty Wars, man. And we would go out and on the battlefield and we would just kind of duke it out till we puke it out on the battlefield. All these special skills. But what we did, we just built up our team. We built up our nation and where we in our
Mm.
general area. And so I remember even playing the game Risk. I don't know if y'all some old heads, but we played the game Risk also. And in that game, we would just talk about taking over different spaces and just continue to grow our dynasty. So I see
Mm.
that generational wealth continue to grow, expand, building individual wealth to impact generations to come. That therefore, hopefully, our generations will use the same information to continue that thing going. We see some dynasties like that.
I agree. And just
So
like
we
that, just like you saying with the video game, brother Isaiah, and just like the Dogecoin you brought up earlier that you just gave away the digital bag, gave away a lot of money there, brother Isaiah. I
hey,
think a lot of this
I gave
important
it away.
thing is for us to realize what game we're playing
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the rules of the game. And from there, we may be able to get this digital bag, people. Actually, we will be able to. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think you really understood the game a little bit at that time, brother Isaiah, when you gave away your digital
I didn't.
bag.
I was young, man. Like I was young. Like I told you, I was just now jumping into the market, learning about the stocks and how we exchange nothing for something, right?
Yeah.
And then now I had this understanding, man. Again, hindsight 2020. I got that vision now, but I'm able to make a whole lot more better decisions now because I have more information. If I had more information, and that's one of the things, again, one of the keys to this digital bag is the information that we have,
Yeah.
these exchanges that we
Consuming,
make. Yeah,
taking
yeah,
advantage
absolutely.
of this information. And we gonna get on that crypto blast. That Dogecoin is a crypto coin, and
It, it,
I have an understanding of crypto, y'all. Crypto is a part of the solution that we're seeking. It is a part of self sovereignty. It is a part of generational wealth. But
where were you at? Where were you at?
I
Where
was
were
out
you
the
at
way.
when I was
I
dealing
was
with
out.
the door?
Well, no, see, that's what I'm saying. Dogecoin is something that wasn't. Hey, we gonna get into that, y'all. We don't get deep into that. But once again, you got to know which game you playing. There is a benefit in crypto, but that Dogecoin, boy, that was just that was a luck situation that you just so happened to
Hey,
miss.
well,
But we gonna get into that because we talking about you got to
yeah,
know the game we're playing, y'all. We are all in a game. When it comes to getting real generational wealth, there's a lot of distractions. But as we
yeah.
take advantage of this information and we realize what game we playing, a lot of this has to do with then. Hold up, let me see if we got some comments over here. Oh,
And listen,
the
we got,
transition of your mindset and your mind frame, people, as you consume this information, will give you a better positioning to win
yeah.
this video game, like Isaiah was talking about Dynasty. Another thing with video games, people, usually we have a set of rules, so we kind of know what game we playing. So
Yeah. Hey, listen, and we got a guest coming in shortly, and we want to make sure everybody is engaged. We want to know your thoughts, your ideas, your perspectives, your insight, your imagination. Make sure you jump into the comments, and like even if you jumping on live or catching us on the replay, we will be engaging you. And so if you got some ideas and thoughts that you want to bring on, we'll get you on screen at some point. But hey, look, we're excited about the digital bag. We know that there's ways for you to continue to grow and expand and
multiple
make it
ways.
larger. Right? Multiple ways. EJ, tell them some of these avenues, man. Tell them some of these avenues.
Well, man, like I say, people, with realizing what game we playing, we then can realize there are keys to this game. And the digital bag, we're talking about generational wealth, people. Let's get it on the table. Generational
Unlock.
wealth, unlocking real generational wealth. And
Yeah.
upon a little downloading of information, a couple of words popped in my head, brother Isaiah, and it was
Lights, camera.
lights, camera, and action. These are the three keys, or three keys. These are three keys to creating real generational wealth. And I realize a lot of times, Isaiah, the universe, God, will pass us certain phrases that we make famous or that we hear here and there, and they mean so much more, people. And like I say, three keys to real generational wealth. When we say lights, camera, action, we're just gonna get to it real quick because we want to bring our guest in and see how he feels about this. And he has some good perspective. So
Insight.
when we say lights, camera, action, people, in my opinion, that's basically lights is the idea. We get ideas, brother Isaiah, and a lot of times these ideas are something we may claim, but hey, that makes sense. I don't know which one we say, but long as we make sense, we on track, baby.
Lights, camera, action. Hey,
What you
look.
think about lights, Isaiah? We were talking about ideas and
Hey,
just that being a part of generational wealth. The lights.
illumination. illumination, right? It's light. That's what light does. It kind of it dispels a little bit of the darkness. Darkness is represented as ignorance at times, and so you just want to think about that. Lights that kind of talk about the ideas, all the imaginations and things like that we can actually grow and expand into. Think about your imagination. Think about the visions that people have for their organizations. All that is the light, and so that's what we communicate, and we shine that on the individuals that are around us. So when I talk about lights, camera, action, man, when we focus in on the light part, it's that thing that kind of catch you. It kind of gets you engaged. It kind of gets you involved. You're like, man, that's pretty. It's attractive. You know what I'm saying? So if I was a mosquito, and I'm not saying I'm an insect now, come on, but if I was a mosquito, the light, I'm attracted to the light, and so I'm not calling people mosquitoes either. I'm just saying, in this scenario, like lights, camera, action, the lights will allow individuals to see what you're doing. You be the light, you are the light, and you shine, and it attracts individuals to you. Lights,
You got a
camera,
good
action,
interpretation here.
ideas, resources, apply, movement.
That's what we talking about.
Look,
and y'all, this is what happens. Your light, man, don't worry about it. Your light will cut on with consumption of information, and that's what we're here to do. So 3 tips. We'll be giving y'all three things to hopefully spark that light that would light the path. We guarantee path to generational wealth. And like we say, 3 of those tips real quick is lights, camera, action. I love that perspective, Isaiah. Lights, you will get lights, people. Like I say, taking advantage of this technology is a part and a blessing of generational wealth. Camera. When we say camera, y'all, we talking about and all of these things can hit different avenues. When I hear camera, I think of perspective.
Yeah.
What you got on camera, brother Isaiah?
Hey, listen, you said the best one. You said the best one, but I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna dive in. Perspective is good. Perspective is good. So I look at perspective the same way with camera, and then I'm thinking about the vantage points, right? The different ways we view things. When I see the camera, man, we know that there's different angles. There's different heights, different levels, get different scenery in the background. So there's a lot involved in understanding the lights, the camera, the action. My favorite part is going to be the action. I ain't gonna lie. I'm waiting for that part. But this is big though. This is big because you can't get to the action without the lights, without the vision, without the perspective, and then you get into a place where you can actually get into where the view. I like the camera because the camera actually has to have a target, and it normally creates your objectives, your initiatives. It creates all those different things that you want to get done. So you shoot it, you aiming, you got something, all your resources, every idea, every vision that you had, you putting everything in that place, and you're like, okay, this is what we're going to target. And so that idea has been turned into objectives, initiatives that everybody can see, that they can function right in front of you.
I love that, man. We giving y'all some quick tips because we're going to bring our guest in. Y'all, once again, this is the Money Machine. Y'all know we like talking real generational wealth. And if you go back to the first, I think this episode 4, Isaiah, we getting on that now, brother.
Hey, it sounds like we on the roll.
Sound like we on the roll. And I like rolls. I like pie and I like rolls, Isaiah.
Man, you're a bread fella, huh?
You gonna make me backslide, man. Talking about pies and rolls. But anyway, y'all, like I say, we are talking real generational wealth as always, and we're gonna have these conversations that lead to solutions, that lead to real techniques. And right now, we're just giving y'all 3 keys to real generational wealth.
Yeah.
We discussed the light.
Have some
My boy Isaiah had a real good perspective on that. Camera is the view, the vision, the perspective, action. Woo! Lord, have mercy.
Look, there's nothing that has life without action. You may think a plant is standing still, right? You may think a plant is standing still, but I promise you there's energy, there's action taking place for that plant to grow, for it to blossom. There's a lot of things. So if you're looking for things to really take place in your life, if you're looking for things to grow, to expand, to blossom in your life, you got to take action. So every objective, every initiative, like there got to be some actions behind it. So, I talk about values and stuff like that. So even if you have great values, those values are absolutely nothing without action behind it. So I'm talking about your vision, lights, right? Understand where you want what things look like for you, what the picture's supposed to be, the camera. Like target all your resources into one specific area. Understand the vantage point. Know that you are unique, and the way you see things, everybody else can't see them that way. And then you got to come in and execute. Action is execution, man. See, you got the target already. What actions are you going to put in place to ensure that you support your dreams, your goals, and your aspirations, and see those come face to face, come into fruition, right? Whatever word you want to use, you want to see those things happen. So think about it. Action breeds action, right? Action breeds action. Equal and opposite actions, and equal and opposite, whatever you want to call it. We need some action. We need some activity. I talk about motivation all the time. A lot of people talk about inspiration. I think that starts with the light part. It starts with the light part where your vision and stuff like that happens. And then after the vision, right, after the inspiration takes place, we start moving into structure. And that's the camera part. The camera going to give you the structure. That's why we can see things a little bit more vividly with the camera. And then we jump into action, right? We jump into action. We start doing the things that we've put in place, right? All the constructions and all these different levels that we put in place, we start executing those things. Start putting your hands to work. Start putting your boots on and start marching, or take your shoes off and start running. Put your feet in the mud, something. But you got to do something to get movement happening. And so action breeds action. Action breeds action.
Hey, man, you got me crunk over there, man. You almost gave me the, I don't know if it was the Holy Ghost or the, I don't know, the generational wealth ghost. You almost gave me something. You almost got some action.
It's definitely the Holy Ghost, man.
You gave me the light, and the I had the perspective, and I almost took action, y'all. When we heard these words, y'all, I love them because there's such a simplicity behind these words. People simply consuming of information like y'all doing now, your lights gonna cut on, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, they gonna cut on.
It's that easy.
From there, you don't have, hey, we all got perspectives. And we're talking about 3 tips, 3 keys, not just tips, 3 keys to generational wealth, people. So
I just want to ask the question. Are y'all ready? Like, cause we bringing the guest in here
just roll the carpet out for them a little bit.
We want to make sure that your minds are ready to engage some new information, because this gentleman, he has some amazing perspective, insight, and imagination. He's going to help us with his piece of the pie. And what we enjoy is to always glean from the information other people bring, because it's a unique perspective. He's going to bring his light. He's going to shine his vision. He's going to tell us about all the things that he has in sight. You know, he's going to tell us about the actions that he's taking. So we want you to tune in. We want you to engage. We want you to ask questions, because he's ready to answer any question you got, right? And we got a few questions for him just to kind of start sparking the question wheel, right?
Yeah, we just laying this carpet out, y'all. He's going to bring his light. It is going to give you a certain perspective, and it's going to feed into your perspective. We want y'all perspectives, and we're going to generate some action, baby. You know, I think Isaiah, old Nike, that old company Nike told us one time, just do it.
Do it.
Don't even worry about it. Don't question nothing.
Hey, look, one thing. Les Brown, I heard a gentleman, he was talking about how he had an engagement with Les Brown. And he said Les Brown told him, just go and figure it out along the way. Action is important, y'all. Like, action can really change the dynamics of everything that's going on around you. If you'll move, sitting in one spot ain't gonna do it for you. It's not
Simply
gonna do it. So we're telling you to move on this digital bag. I'm just saying. And look, let's talk about some of these avenues before we bring our guest on real quick. We want to talk about some of these avenues. One of the avenues you see us talking about is where we at right now. This podcast. Jumping on. This is a digital podcast. We're connecting with individuals all across the world. We're putting out our perspective, our insight, and imagination. Individuals get to enjoy our really unique perspectives and our personalities. And people, this is a way to really streamline your avenue for the digital bag. That's one way. What's another way, EJ? Tell us about it.
Oh, there's so many options. Oh my God. What y'all want to do? Y'all want to use TikTok? Y'all want to use YouTube? Y'all want to use newsletters, blogs? People, they're all very profitable, but it's only because the energy that you put out When done correctly, structured, and value based, the energy return is money. So y'all know I love realizing the simplicity in getting this digital bag that we all have an opportunity to get, people.
That's
And
right.
we ain't gonna rush this process, but we gonna understand this process is guaranteed, and it's all simply forms of communication. People, you are
Yeah.
great at one or the other. People are actually seeking your perspective to turn on their light so they can
Yep.
get some action. Y'all know
Yep.
them three. We hanging on them little three things because y'all, this is a
Likes.
conversation that leads to real generational wealth. That's all we talk about on here, y'all. So if y'all have
Yeah.
any conversations, y'all, we would love y'all perspectives. This is the Money Machine Podcast, Unloaded, season 2.1. But that's neither
Let's
here
go.
nor there.
Let's
Let me
go.
bring this comment on before we and like I say, y'all, we're looking for y'all perspectives. What is generational wealth to you?
Yeah.
We would like
Yeah.
to know. How
We
do
would
we
like,
attain that? Because these are the conversations that lead to guaranteed solutions.
as you
Reflection
bring,
of information does lead to guaranteed reality creation, my people.
yeah. Yeah. So as you bring on the next comment, like this is the thing. I want to talk about one way, another avenue for generational wealth, and not necessarily the digital bag is really the avenue, right? One of the
Mhm.
ways you continue to process. Like I created some books, I wrote books, and those books I don't touch them anymore, right? But they're online, right? They're online and they
Mhm.
sell. When I go out to my speaking engagements, I can continue to push those things. That's always a resource that's available to me. Now, my children are going to have that same resource, right? They're going to have that same resources. I'm helping develop books. I'm helping develop all these different avenues for other individuals.
You
Yeah,
pass
they
some
keep.
keys.
Yeah, man.
Hey, we got to do something like this. Hey, we got to set it up, Isaiah. Why do like that? And you got your
Yeah.
keys. You bring. Ah, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't got them with me, you
We'll
know.
do it later. We'll do it later.
Yeah, we'll set that up.
Keep getting the digital keys for now.
Yeah, we'll give you the digital keys there. All right. So without further ado, man, like let's get some more perspective, insight, and imagination, man. Let's talk to someone who has some passion to help you turn your light on. Right? We're talking about the mental aspect of things, man. We're talking about your mindset. We're talking about the health mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, man. I had opportunity to just kind of glean at some of the information he's developing in his book. And man, y'all better get ready. Y'all better get ready. I'm excited to be able to read. I'm happy he thought it was cool to just even share it with me. And I know he got some gems he's going to drop for you all today. We're just going to kind of probe him and understand what his vision is for what he do. So let's bring our friend on, man. Let's create the trifecta right here and just kind of talk a few different things concerning our next topic.
Bam,
So
What's going
so
on, y'all?
brother George.
hey y'all, this is my guy George Brooks. Man, welcome to the Money Machine Podcast, Unloaded Season 2.1. We're excited to have you as our first guest for
We are, man.
this season, and so we're excited to have you, man.
Thank you.
Hey, look, just tell the people a little bit about you. We're going to jump back in. We're going to ask you a few questions, and just tell the people a little bit about you so they know who they're talking to.
Well, I'm George P. Brooks, CEO and founder of a nonprofit called Meta Association. What we do there is we focus on Black male mental health, fighting recidivism, and promoting fatherhood. We've done food drives, mentoring programs, all kinds of things. So support us, Meta Association. You can reach me at 214-810-6518 or email me at gbrooks@metaassociation.org. I'm also a public speaker available for gigs, also a TV producer, writer, and but most importantly, a mental health advocate. So that's a bit about me, George P. Brooks Jr.
Man,
I
hold
love
up,
that,
hold
man.
up. That was loaded. So it's gonna be up to me to help unload that a little bit. So first of all, man, I heard a whole lot of value just in your communication, what you're
Right.
doing for mental health, even just the values that you bring as an asset as a person. So let's talk a little bit about Meta. Let's talk a little bit about Meta. What's the vision for Meta? You know, I heard you say fighting recidivism. No, many people might not know what recidivism is. Kind of elaborate on that for us.
I ain't gonna lie, that's a big word, George. You got to break them down for me, man.
Well, I think there is a disturbing trend in our society where our men and women, especially our men and women, post incarceration, are not set up to where they can be successful. They don't have the resources to have an even keel coming up. And I'm not asking for special rights for anyone. I'm just asking for elements and systems and checks and balances to be put in place where they have an even chance. And we don't do that for those of us that find themselves, on the wrong end of the criminal justice system. So how can you expect a society to function when you make your prison industrial complex its own economy? And the best way I can do to fight that is to fight recidivism, is try to do things socially, address people's mental health to try to prevent them from getting back into the system post incarceration. So that's something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
Love
So,
that, man.
we're talking about individuals repeating a lot of the same behaviors,
Right.
and moving back into the same system they just exited from. So, my brother George said that he's working in building structures and systems in which individuals won't have to fall into that trap again, right? They can find some security. They can find some place to lean in on right there at Meta Association. So, man, that's a powerful thing, man. I know that community is a big thing, and we seen that growing up. It's not as crazy of a community nowadays where we live, but it's more communicated in the organizational branches, right? We see that. We
Right.
see people talk about organizational culture and build community when we talk about financial aspects of growth. But when we're talking about building people up, those things kind of have like subsided, the conversation about them anyway. And we got to get those things resurfaced. We got to start back talking about them openly, or maybe we just not focusing on the right things. But man, I really appreciate the work you're doing. So,
Thank you.
outside of the recidivism and preventing those things, let's talk some mental health. Because I
Right.
watched some of your YouTube, your social media, and I know you talk about your son thought processes and your thought processes, and just men in general, the thoughts, and breaking some of those different stigmas about how we think and how we utilize our feelings and emotions. Could you kind of explain how you help individuals around the mental health aspect?
Right. Well, one thing I speak on, and it's directly related to the theme of this show and the theme of this episode, is generational wealth. I started speaking on things like that, libertarianism, issues that are important to me, and explaining how I arrived here. But in terms of generational wealth, gentlemen, one thing if you heard me speak, you hear me speak about things like generational trauma, racial trauma, and there's a generational trauma that we have incurred as a people, but it's financial.
Yeah.
Us, when we were growing up, we weren't taught things about credit, so we had to learn the hard way. Whereas in their communities, they made sure their kids understood what credit was, how it affected you, how to use it, how to leverage wealth for yourself. And we're just a little late getting on the train for it, but we need to hop on it. So what that means is changing your mindset about money. Does money rule you, or do you rule it? Does money use you, or do you use money? And until I started to kind of shift my mindset about money, and I realized it was a generational thing, things for me haven't started to matriculate in the way that I wanted. So I had to look at different principles about money. I had to read certain books. I read the Richest Man in Babylon. That was one of the books. The Book of Five Rings. That was one of the books. Warren Buffett is one of my idols. Well, not idols, but one of my role models in terms of how he conducts business. He's a multi-billionaire, but yet he still drives the same car, gets the same thing from McDonald's every day. And what they displayed to me is that there's got to be a certain consistency in how you live your life and how you approach your finances. The thing is, what's the standard of consistency going to be? And you have to develop that through looking through your own morals, your own principles, and what's important to you. To one man, money may be the end all be all, and it's okay. That's just him. But he's going to pursue his wealth differently than a person that just wants certain things. So look at what you want and what wealth means to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
we have to be individuals.
Yeah, and that's we're created uniquely just like that, man. And I think I'm glad that you brought that up, because I always tell people, man, it's important to take advantage of the uniqueness that you have. Your uniqueness is is the volume of your value. It screams out into your success. You get to put the crown on and say, hey, I'm royal in who I am. You know what I'm saying? So nobody can take that royalty away from you. And when I hear you talking about the information, what I hear is information hasn't gotten to our people. Like we haven't accessed the information. Now, in this informational age, right? In this informational age, what is keeping us from getting information now? Why are we staying ignorant about the generational wealth or opportunities for generational wealth? Why are we not subjecting ourselves to this information? Is it something that we don't value? Is that the reason?
We don't value it because we don't understand, or we may not be in certain positions or jobs to where our credit can really hurt us. It depends. You know, a lot of us don't learn to leverage their credit to build wealth for ourselves. Instead of buying an $80,000 car, once you find your auction for $80,000 condo, renovate it, and now you have a revenue stream. Our values are just in the wrong places. But that's just because we're choosing not to know the information. Because, you know, when I first got on the internet in 1994, information was available at that point. So we don't have an excuse. But another thing, yeah, exactly. And another thing in our communities we have to be careful for are credit scammers. Are people that saying, hey, I can fix your credit, just pay me $1,500 and give me 30 days. You know, we have to be careful about that because I think a lot of the information that we receive can be erroneous.
Yeah, and so the stress,
right.
We see distress and trust, right? When people are in distress, they tend to trust more, right? And so, and then when people are broken, they tend to trust less. So I see that, you know, that's something that we definitely have to pay attention to because we get in distress and we don't know where to go. We don't have any information to actually balance this out or even to mirror it against. So we just take information from anybody who's a quick speaker, right? Who sounds good. That's the problem. That's the problem around so many different areas of our lives is that things sound good. Things sound good. Sometimes we got to slow down and speed up, meaning that learning isn't a speedy process. No. Learning is not a speedy process. It takes people 4 years to get degrees at times, right? It takes people an additional 2 years to get another degree, additional 2 years, 4 years to get a different degree. So learning is not just a speedy process, but it's important to learn. And I tell people this all the time, George and EJ, I tell people this all the time. And I posted a video about this. It was discipline, right? It was talking about the aspects of discipline. Behind discipline, what upholds discipline is submission. And that's not submission to people, but submission to information. Right. Submission to information. And if you don't submit to the information, then you'll find yourself getting caught up in the system and going in circles over and over. You might get out from hard work, but you'll go back because you don't have the information or haven't submitted to new information to create things or systems for you to continue to go. And so, like, go ahead.
I was going to say an important part of this journey too, and it relates to what you're saying, and it relates to the action and lights, camera, action, is that it's important that when you get an action plan and you are putting it into effect and you are implementing it, and this ties into your mental health and your emotional health. Give yourself room to grow and be patient with yourself. This is a lot of information to retain. It's been withheld from us from generations. So you can't expect to have it all figured out in 6 months' time. You know, you have to find legitimate ways to impact your credit in a positive way, yet be patient enough to let those positive impacts show through. You can't get frustrated. You have to give yourself time to absorb that information. But part of action, and it came to mind, is what you were saying led me to the action part. Part of action is also knowing when to take a break, when to slow down. Look, maybe you don't need to keep reading. You know, you don't have to read a creative book every night. You know, you don't have to go to the seminar every day. Give yourself time to process and absorb that information because there's a lot to learn. Get what other people learn and find legit people. But give yourself time because, you know, learned behavior can't be unlearned in a day.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't get bad credit. You know, we didn't wake up one day with bad credit. Now, some of us act like we did, but we didn't do that. So, but, you know, give yourself time. Give yourself time because it takes time to rebuild your credit. You know, it takes time to change your mindset about money and how we use money, not just credit, but even how we approach. Like Cash App is not a bank account, people. I'm sorry. It's just not. You get cash. All you get is Cash App, you in bad shape. But that's because our mindset toward money is so warped and adulterated. But we can't fix it. It's just gonna take a little time. But plan without a plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So we have to keep that in mind also.
And Frank, so think about this. I think perspective, plays a role. One, but expectation, like what is our expectation? Because I'm not sure that individuals have the proper expectations about the time it takes to rebuild credit, the time it takes to put systems in place, the time it takes to like really personally and professionally develop yourself and have a mind that can not only retain information but also apply the information. So I think expectations has been one of the biggest catalysts to the downside of a lot of people's financial situation. Think about how many fast talkers come in and say, "Hey, I'll fix your credit, do all these different things, pay me this," right? And then the law, if you paid attention to the law, what they're telling you isn't even solid. Like it's not even fundamentally proper, but you're accepting it because you're in a place of distress and you're like, man, I need to get this fixed. And they got it in a short time window. And I can see light at the end of the tunnel, right? Mm-hmm. These individuals are selling visions. They're selling visions. Mm-hmm. That's the light aspect. They're selling visions. So, with Meta Association, man, like when you cast your vision to the people, what kind of time expectation do you set for them? Like, what do they see when you sit down, when you have those conversations, you say, hey, listen, this is where we want to go. I don't know what the consultation may look like, but, you sit down with an individual, they say, hey, look, I've been incarcerated. I want to maintain my life outside here. How much time will it take? I don't have good credit. I want to build some strong credit. How much time would it take? How do you project those ideas to them in a way where they understand that the expectation is not this is not happening tomorrow, right? This is not happening tomorrow,
right? I'm just real with them. I say it's so many varying elements that go into your rate of success in life. It goes to how much effort you putting in, the circumstances of the bureaucracy that you're dealing with, and just what's going on in the world. So I just tell people to, once they make a plan, stay consistent with it.
Yeah,
and be patient with the process, but it just depends. Now, as far as dealing with those that I know that have been incarcerated, they usually a lot of times don't too much have credit problems because they've been incarcerated. They hadn't had a chance to mess up their credit yet. So that's one advantage that they should be using. And what I mean by advantage is not getting out and start misusing their credit. And start like my father did 7 years in Fort Pillar Penitentiary. When he got out, he always had good credit, but when he got out, it was pristine. He was able to get the things he needed. I would tell all people, protect your credit because it can stop you from getting jobs. And people don't realize. People don't realize maybe you didn't get that job because they check your credit score. And be careful about predatory lending because, like you were saying, Isaiah, about when we get desperate with money. Then all of a sudden we thinking, what this cop paid for, let me get a little $2,000 on it. Or you think, let me write that check advance. And those businesses are predatory. The interest rate they charge, this loan sharking money.
Yeah, we're talking about 600% interest rates, 300% interest rates. And
that's crazy. I haven't heard that term predatory lending way too many times past couple of weeks. That's obviously something we definitely need to watch out for.
Right. And we have to understand how they market toward us and how they take advantage of us because they put themselves in usually the poorest parts of our communities where if you're in financial distress, that's where you're going to be at. They're not out in certain areas. They're not in more suburban or
it's like liquor stores.
Right. It's like liquor stores. You don't see a church digging in certain areas.
Yeah. So as we move on, man, to another topic. Like I talk about the incarceration often, man. I myself experienced incarceration, right? And I had a great support group, made some great decisions, and I'm able to do a whole lot of things for other people. And I'm blessed because of that. God has really put me in a position to do that. But when we talk about it, we know that the rates are in between 20 and 44%, 45%. Individuals are returning back to prison after their release. They're returning back to jail after their release. That's a high number. That's a really high number. And, you told us that, you know, it's because there's not enough systems in place. What kind of systems should be in place? Like what should be in place to help prevent individuals from going back into prison? Because I know one of my biggest things was having a great support group, having people that were there who cared about my well-being.
Right. And I
We
think
got a comment that said time to change that, fella. So
I'm
did
about
in
to
our
just
own communities, and I think
I'm
this
about to
feed
just
into it.
right there. I'm about to get right
I
up on.
already know. That's why I had to pop it up there.
But you know, I think the rate for reincarceration over 10 years was like 93.5%.
93 over 10 years.
Yeah, over 10 years, it was like 93% because what they factored in is any reassociation with the criminal justice system.
Gotcha.
After that. And that's the shame. But here's why I think that is and how I approach it. I believe in addressing the mental health of being incarcerated, of the incarcerated first, because the trauma of being incarcerated is enough to break most people. And they don't get adequate medication when they're in there. They don't get the adequate therapy they need. And that's not just for those living with the, living with a mental illness, but just being in that environment, man, it's stressful. So you got to treat people while you're in there, but when they're out, you have to make sure they have mechanisms in place where they can get the help they need, where there is medication, not just psych medication. You have to address the mind and the body of these people that you want to release back into society and of all of society, but yet make them whole and give them a chance to prosper. But my key to that, I believe in entrepreneurship. I think we should have more, like what I would like to do one day with Meta, start a micro loan program for those that were incarcerated that want to start a small business or maybe went back to school or something, at least pay for their books or something, to give them the opportunity to discover what we have discovered, which is the joy and spirit of entrepreneurship. And have a better way of guiding their own forces in life as opposed to, okay, I got some of the background, so I can't work here. So the only thing I get is a minimum wage job. I did better off in prison and fall back into this cycle that the system perpetuates and depends on. So, it's time to start speaking about entrepreneurship. It's time, like I'm an active father, getting our young men and giving them that sense of, maybe entrepreneurship, even if you work for somebody else, have you a couple side hustles, have you multiple revenue streams. It's time for us to instill that in our sons and daughters and into our communities now to build generational wealth.
Yeah. So, that's obviously something strong. So let's take Melissa's comment. She says, power of the family. Fathers knowing the importance of their role as men. Man, you know what?
And we like this, y'all. But before you get to the comment, if y'all got any perspectives, comment. We can prop y'all comments and y'all perspectives on screen. And that's what we're here to do, baby. Have these conversations. We're here with George P. Brooks of Meta Association. And y'all know we talking real generational wealth. So let me get out your way out there.
A lot of information. Man. So Melissa, big point. This is a big point. I think it goes across all ethnicities, all colors and creeds. This is a really big point. The power of family, man. Like I talked about this, and I think a lot of people don't get it sometimes. There's a quote out there that says blood is thicker than water. Have you ever heard that? The full proverb says something completely different, doesn't it? It says the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, right? So a lot of people say, hey, blood is thicker than water. No, but the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. And what I understand from that is that the covenants that I decide to make, like the things, the engagements and the contracts I decide to get connected to, those will be thicker than those those born into contracts. Think about it. There's friends that, even in the scripture, the Bible that I read all the time, is that, a friend stick closer than a brother. So there are people who becomes family. And I think family has a term that, idea that we fall under the same order, right? We fall under the same structure and we can operate together because of it. And, when I look at family, I look at communities now. And I'm like, this is how people become family with individuals. This is how they get so close that they're leaning on this individual more than they're leaning on those people that they were born into, the families that they were born into. I'm not telling you, hey, get rid of your your born family. What I'm saying is your decisions that you make are stronger hinged on you than the ones that you're born into. So sometimes we like to say, "Hey, I was born in this way. I was born." I made decisions. I became homeless. I was born into a family. I had my mom and my dad. Didn't stay that way, right? It didn't stay that way. I was raised by my mom. She had 5 children. She took care of us. We all living. I'm the youngest out of the 5. We're doing things, but I made decisions. I became homeless. I did a whole lot of different things, right? Found myself incarcerated. There's a whole lot of different things based on my decisions, and my decisions also, even though people offered me support, my decision to take that support, my decision to implement the information, my decision to do those things is the reason why I'm here today doing the things I'm doing, helping other individuals in the same capacity. So again, I think it's like the blood of the covenant, man, the things that you decide to connect with, the things that you decide to hold on to, the things that you decide that, hey, look, I'm going to lock in on this. Those are the things that are going to be strong. And those are the things that you'll find your support group in. But she did make a big statement. And if y'all got, points that y'all want to talk about the family part, by all means, jump in. But she did make a statement about men. And y'all, I think that's a big subject. George, man, tell us a little bit how you feel about this last statement here concerning the men, because I think it's really important. It says fathers knowing the importance of their role as men, right? Understanding and knowing their role as men in the family.
Well, the thing is, we need to create a culture where the importance of the father is renewed and appreciated, first of all. But in that process, it's going to be up to us as individuals to define what manhood means for us, and try to be that and try to embody that. Exactly. We have gotten so muddled in social media and everybody having a voice. I think it's made the idea of what a man is supposed to be or what a man is supposed to do cloudy for a lot of us, and it's caused a lot of confusion for us. So, we need to figure that part out, and that comes with the mental and emotional health. And once we get over our own securities and our own trauma, then what we can do, we can be the men that we're supposed to be. Once we're the men we're supposed to be, then we can be the fathers we need to be. Many of us already are the fathers we're supposed to be. I got a 19-year-old and a 14-year-old, and both of them doing well because I've always been in their lives.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are doing that part, but we don't get noticed because the social norms want to perpetuate this stereotype about us that we're absent or we're deficient fathers. Some of us may be a deficient husband. Okay, that is what that is. But that don't mean we're deficient fathers. And I think stereotype that they want to keep perpetuating because it's profitable for them, and it keeps women angry at us. But that's a whole other subject.
So
we're gonna get into that too. One of these episodes.
I think this is the perfect subject. No,
okay, bring it on.
So check this out. I think one thing we got to ask is what is the role of men? Like what? Because if we look at the world, I watched many podcasts on this subject. I read books on this subject. I read books concerning my role as a man. And the question is like, what is the role of a man? Because this is fluctuating way too much, right? It's fluctuating way too much. When we look at men out in the environments, man, they're in the mud, man. They're building bridges. They're setting the roads up. They're putting skyscrapers in the sky, putting planes together. There's women doing a lot of these things now too. But like, when we talk about the role of a man, what is the role of a man?
To lead your homes and community.
We asking y'all too out there, people. What is the role of a man? What is y'all vision of real generational wealth?
The role of a man is to embody the values of his community, to stand up for his community, to stand up for his children, and to stand up for his mate should he choose to have one. But we have to lead our communities. That's where we lost. You notice when men were taking out the communities and taking out the homes, we started having this shift now. It became more a matter of our women becoming dependent on government stipends while we were told we couldn't be in the home.
Yeah.
That valued us as men because we took that hard. A lot of us men, we are out here hurting because we dealing with things, we dealing with told we not good enough and we not that and we not this.
No.
That's gonna weigh on you as a man. I don't care how strong you think you are.
Yeah. So
down on you.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think that's a highlight too, man. Especially for our community, we understood that there was so many people who were pushed out of homes. People used to hide their husbands or hide their men just so they can get these subsidies, right? Just so they can get these supplemental benefits. And now it's really perpetuated. Now it's something that's normal. It's normal
And
for the woman to have her children with no husband there. And then the legal systems also have created benefits, right? It's been beneficial for women not to have their husbands or mates in the home. And so we have seen that. But as a role of a man, this is me. You know, I'm putting my crown on. I'm going to give you my perspective, my insight, and imagination. I come into this world as a boy, and as a boy, I already had two siblings, and I had four siblings. I had two sisters and two brothers. I had a mom and a dad. As soon as I came into this earth, I came in with a whole lot of responsibility. Right? I came in as a boy. I come in with a whole lot of responsibility. I got four siblings, and I got two parents. Man, already, and that's my internal structure. That's my home, immediate family. And
Yeah.
so thinking about that, I come in with that responsibility, but I also received a lot of support because I had these individuals present. So as I got older, you know, as a boy, I come in as a brother. Not only did I come in as a brother, I came in as a son, right? And so I came in as a brother, son, and a boy, and there's already things that I'm already having to pay attention to just coming into this earth. And then I get older. And as I get older, I have to understand the qualities of a man, right? I go through different things such as puberty, and I go through different things talking about my feelings and emotions or not talking about my feelings. I go through all these different things, my relationship with my brothers, my relationship with my sisters, my relationship with my mom, my relationship with my dad. I start learning these things and start understanding how I'm supposed to conduct myself with them. And then after that, I step out on my own. And at that point, I believe I'm supposed to be a man. Now I'm just an adult. I'm just an adult because I haven't at this point took care of myself. And so, as a man, a lot of people want to say, hey, men have to take care of everybody else. I think as a man, you have to take care of yourself. If a man don't take care of himself, it's impossible for him to take care of anybody else. And so a lot of people want to say, hey, men, you got to be a man. Well, am I taking care of myself first? That's the first thing, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't be selfless. You, in my book, in one of my books, I said you got to be selfish to be selfless, meaning that I got to equip myself so well that I have a surplus of resources. I have an overflow of resources in which I can bring in somebody and take care of them. That's how I benefit my community. That's how I benefit my family. And a lot of people.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
So when people think about men, first of all, they got to think about them taking care of themselves. And after they think about that, then think about these other roles that they have to make sure that they decide to step into. This is me deciding to step into marriage, right? I decide to step into marriage. So somebody decide, as a man, if you decide to step into marriage, you take on the role of a husband, and you must understand what a husband is. And at that point, I'm in marriage. I understand what a husband is. I'm doing my husband duties, but I don't get to negate the fact that I'm a man. I still got to take care of myself. And then at the same time, should me and my wife decide we want to have children, I go into another level of my malehood, my boyhood, my malehood. I go from a boy, go to adult, go to a man, go to a husband. Now I'm a father. And I don't get to negate any of the responsibilities I gotten up all the way into this point. I still got to take care of my children. I got to take care of my wife, but I still cannot forget to take care of myself as a man. And what has happened is that we've forgotten to take care of ourselves. And so now our family structure is starting to break down because we're not strong enough. We don't have enough resources. We don't have enough knowledge. We don't have enough information. We don't even have enough partnerships. We don't have enough friends. We don't have enough, community. And now we're broke down. So our families start to break down and everything else break down behind it. And that's exactly what happened when the husband is like literally removed from the family. You see that same thing take place without the husband. I know a lot of people say, hey, I'm making it without a man. I know a lot of people say, but who do you call? Like, who do you call for that support? You got a brother, you got a dad. Who do you call? You know what I'm saying? When you get stranded, who do you call when something needs to be fixed or built or structured, things in that magnitude. I'm not saying women can't do some of these things. My mom did a lot of them, but she shouldn't have had to.
But what do you think? But from a self-esteem standpoint, what does it tell the son of those single mothers that constantly hear their mother say, "I don't need a man. What can a man do for me?" What does that do for their boy's self-esteem? Him coming up.
Yeah,
you have to think about things like that.
Yeah, but we see it, right?
We see it.
Yeah, we see what it's done. We see what it's done to those young men. And
we see a lot of feminization in our communities that we shouldn't have.
And that's
a whole other subject.
Or the opposite, which is
the aggression.
There you go.
That aggression, yeah.
Got a comment over here. I don't know what to say. I got to see this red little alert over here, y'all. If y'all got any comments, be sure to comment y'all perspective. We got somebody to say truth.
So
but listen,
if my mom hated my dad, which she didn't. But if my mom hated my dad and she showed that to me, I would hate the first man that I met. And if I hate the first man that I met, you know how hard it is for me to love any other man?
Yeah.
Almost impossible.
I'm going to stretch that hatred out across the board. And we see that in our communities right now.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly what we see.
And those of us, those single mothers out there, be careful what you say around your sons, around your daughters as well, but especially around your sons, because they may already be struggling with trying to find their source of masculinity that all little boys seek to pattern themselves after. So that's really important. And the thing is, we have to sustain our communities and build them up, because what kind of generational wealth can we build with a broken community, with an unhealthy society? Nothing. The thing is no way to build that generational wealth. There's no way to create that culture in a way that's really going to be transformative to people's lives. We don't have a well community. We don't have a well society.
Yeah, we appreciate these perspectives. These people comment, y'all. If y'all have any perspectives, comment, y'all. Even if y'all come watch the replay, chime in, y'all. These are the conversations that we will have on the Money Machine podcast. These leads to real generational wealth, and a lot of it starts here, mindset, mental. But that's the blessing that it starts here, and we all have here. So these are the conversations we need y'all to tap in. Perspective. George P. Brooks with the Meta Association. Chimed in with us right now, y'all. Let me get out the way.
Grateful to have you. Grateful to have you on, man, George. So, Melissa said here, she said, it's time to build community that honor each other. And sometimes what I see is that we can't move forward without addressing the things that transpired in the past. And so, how do we do this moving forward? Like how do we cultivate this time to be that time that we honor each other? How do we do it? We need to be able to do this
by addressing the trauma and dealing with the issues that may have occurred in the past, but yet have lingering results. And the short answer to that is get help, get in therapy, talk to somebody, get it out there. Talk it out there. If you got to cry and get it out, cry. You got to scream, get it out, scream. But deal with those emotions, especially with us as men deal with, and especially as men of color, we deal with a lot of insecurity. We deal with a lot of things that we deal with the idea of an ego and what it means to be a man. So we need to be having those discussions. I would like to have a venue where we and the brothers get together, maybe a cigar lounge, and just have those kind of talks. But we got to start talking about it. And that's what we got to do right now, because that's the only way to get past it, is to deal with the past.
Yeah. See, and I agree with that, man. Like a lot of people be like, "Oh, just forget about it. It's done. It's over. Just move forward." And that's something that's virtually impossible. Let me be honest. Let me tell you why. Because you're going to carry it with you, and so every day you're going to be revisiting some of these things based on interactions that you have, and so how you respond to them is going to be different. And that's really what you have to. That's why we go to therapy, because now the traumas I used to have, I can respond to them now when these things show up. You don't get the same reaction from me now, because I dealt with those things that was there in the past. And that's what this kind of engagement does. That's what mental health helps with, man. Like I tell people, your mental health is your mental capacity, virtually part of your intelligence in sense. And so when I tell people that, they be like, "Oh man, that's messed up. You said I'm not intelligent." No, I'm just saying that all of us come ignorant of something, and the information I need to actually move forward from my injury, I don't have. And so I need some more information. If I get that information, I can move forward, right? And now my mental capacity is stronger, it's higher, and my engagements with others are a whole lot more official and functional. And so we see that missing in so many levels. And again, the short answer: get help.
Yeah,
we got to do that.
Like me, for example, I've been in therapy 6 years. I mean, and I just had a session earlier this week, and it helps a lot. It helps me unpack a lot. It's helped me over time, deal with some lingering issues I didn't even realize I had that were holding me back. You know, and a lot of us need to get over the cowardice we have about not seeking therapy, being afraid of it. Oh, somebody gonna think I'm a punk. Man, who cares what people think? You see, because they're not living your life. They're not looking in the mirror that you got to look into every morning. Don't worry about what
I heard somebody say that people have been talking about you since you were born, man. Why you tripping now? You know what I'm saying? I promise we get to a point where we just start thinking about stuff other people done said. I'm like, man,
right.
What about that vision you have for your life? Why you ain't thinking about that? What about that dream, that goal, those aspirations, those objectives that you put in for yourself? Why are you not thinking about the things that you said that you want, the places you wanted to go? We're thinking about all the things everybody else said, and now we're headed in that direction. What we look at, that's where we're going. You know what I'm saying? And so tell people that all the time. If we're looking in the past, we're going to the past. We're going to start repeating those behaviors. If we're looking to the future, we're going to the future. Doesn't mean I can't address the things in the past as I look to the future, because I'm still going.
Let's look at it like this.
Keys over here, baby.
Let's look at it like this. I look at trauma, and it just came to me. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. You on a trip, you driving cross country, right? You hit a bump in the road. You hit another bump in the road, but you keep it on driving because you know what? You say that bump was behind you.
Yeah.
But if you don't stop over and check your tire, you might be walking in a minute. And that's what I mean by getting your help. Now we got to change our tire mentally.
Yeah.
We got to get out to address it. Then we can go and get where we're going.
Exactly. And that's a very important point, because even when you're looking to the future, it doesn't mean you don't stop and check yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you always we have to do that, man. What? Self-reflection, self-examination. We have to sit down and be like, hey, whether it's a journal, right? Whether it's therapy, we got to sit down and be like, man, what am I doing with the information that I have? What am I doing with my resources? What am I doing with my body? Like, what kind of food am I taking in? Why am I functioning the way I'm functioning? Because if we don't ask ourselves those questions, how many people are actually asking you that question? Not many people asking you that question. And if you have
what's going on, Yvette? Let me give a shout out to Yvette right quick, man. She say it's good to see our face. Good to see you too. Hey, we talking real generational wealth, Yvette. What's real generational wealth to you? We over here chopping it down.
One thing you have to be aware of too in building generational wealth, you have to change your social circle too.
That's real.
Bam. Because you can't make no money hanging around Ray and them.
Man.
Hey, and you know what, George? They're bringing the fact that one of my business partners, Miss Liz, she actually suggested the topic, and it feeds right into that. Not only do you have to change your circle, your circle will change itself. So you have to realize that and not hold on to certain situations and that's not conducive to your destination, and realize that happens.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in them negative vibes, people trying to make you feel a certain way. Yeah, your circle will change. As well as you changing your circle gonna change itself.
Hey, this little girl on social media, she said this. She was like, how long? She was asking a question to this other gentleman. She was like, how long do you get this? How long do you take? How much do you take from your friends and your family for them disrespecting you, continue to disrespect you before you separate from them? And the man said, how long do you drink poison?
You know what I'm saying?
You don't.
Right.
You don't. Not knowingly and not willingly, right?
Yeah.
And so,
but some of us are in such codependent relationships and so bound to family and what they're supposed to mean that we still drink the poison and don't wonder why we never get well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another side of it too. A lot of us deal with family because we feel like we're obligated to, despite what they do with us as individuals. And those are toxic relationships that we have to come up and work against in order to see any real growth and change. As men especially, we can no longer be in toxic relationships with women, with our kids, anybody. But see, sometimes we may like I'm not never mind. But I'm just saying, you know, maybe that means we need to be single to be more selective in who we couple ourselves to.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. And I think it's hard. I think these are decisions that are hard, but these are the decisions that are necessary. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we make decisions every day. But when it comes to this, I'm talking about we make thousands of decisions every day with no problem. But when it comes to decisions that really changes our lives, cultivate us, or we have to prune and things in that magnitude, we'll sit on it for decades. We'll sit on it for decades and we'll literally give our lives away to a bad decision. You know what I'm saying? Instead of making a good decision right now so we can retake control over our lives. You know, it's something how all these fluctuations happen with our decisions when pertinent information come, or it's like, hey, I might have to hurt a feeling. I might have to, you know what I'm saying? I might have to cause a little friction. It might hurt my feelings. It might cause me some resource issues, whatever the case may be. When it comes to that point, you don't be tripping when you talk about that $50 plate you bought on that date. And you don't be tripping when you're going out with your boys kicking it, spending out $100 bill after $100 bill. You don't be tripping on that. But when they're talking about changing something up here, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's why our financial situations are in a roar right now, because we okay with spending out money. It's something of a stress reliever, I believe, for some of us. But then when it comes to changing our minds and changing the way we operate and function, then we like, oh no, I can't do that. It's crazy.
Right. Because, you know, the thing we have to change our mindset and be more self-sufficient, because we work a job where if we're lucky we make $20 an hour. Why is it taking me a whole hour to make $20? You know, there needs to be our mindset going into how we think about money. There needs to be our mindset going to it. Not I'm going to punch Mr. John's clock for 8 hours and do something and live paycheck to paycheck. We got to get sick of that.
You're talking real generational wealth, people. Real, not just little fake generational wealth. No, people, we are it. And that's what we're here to do, y'all. We're going to have these conversations. So if y'all watching, make sure to tap in. What is your vision of generational wealth? You got any keys? We would like to borrow them keys. We're going to give them back.
That's real.
Borrow them keys, baby.
George, you said $20 bill, man. Like that. Come on, let's think about that. Let's hash that. Let's dive into that a little bit.
Okay.
I'm getting paid a $20 bill for a whole hour of my time.
Right.
What can actually be done with that hour of my time? And because like I talk about time management all the time, man. And when I'm thinking about an hour of my time and a $20 bill, that don't work for me. It just don't work for me.
Yeah,
it don't balance out. And so how do we craft ourselves? Because I'm basically making a contract with whoever I'm giving my hours to for $20. And I said I value myself at $20 an hour.
That's what you place your value at. That's what you place what you're worth at. And I'm sorry, I place more value on myself than that, because that's the real first key to create generational wealth and change your mindset about money. And if you think working for $20, $30 an hour for somebody else is going to get you generational wealth, you're fooling yourself. It may be able to be used temporarily to help you in some regard, maybe to sustain you, maybe to keep you fed. But other than that, your every hour, every day need to be spent on your grind, on your hustle, because your value is based on what you're willing to invest in yourself first.
I would say that feed right into the comment. Yvette say working any job really can't foster wealth unless the petty little crumbs you're getting paid to build someone else's dream is even enough to stay. What did it say? Invest. I can't read that, Isaiah. My eyeballs over here twisted.
Invest or build someone else's dream is even enough to stay investing back into building your own dreams. Exactly. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm with her on that, man. Like, so think about this, and I look on the corner. I'm here in Dallas, Texas. I'm driving around. There's a lot of people on the corner asking for money all the time, and I'm thinking about this. I see these individuals, man. They getting money. You know what I'm saying? They're standing out there getting money. And I can only think that maybe these individuals are making $20 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Maybe these individuals are making $20 an hour. Maybe they're comfortable with doing what they're doing. these maybe they're not, but then you got to also think maybe these other individuals who has the home, has the car, has all these other things are also in the same mindset of individuals that's on that corner making $20 an hour. I'm okay with this. I'm not saying that they have, but they okay with the $20 an hour. I'm okay with exchanging, and this is something that has been socially accepted. We actually have conditioned our children. We were conditioned to do it. Our children been conditioned to do it. Generations to come will be conditioned to do it if there's no information that's revolved around. Set out there. But think about this. We have to look at how much our hour is actually worth for me. I'm gonna be a little transparent, right? I get on stage. I got an event coming up in August. I'm gonna get on stage for an hour. I'm gonna get paid $3,500. $3,500 for an hour. So if I'm getting paid $3,500 to stand on stage for an hour, then what am I doing? Working $20 an hour. Right. And the only reason I'm communicating this is because we all have the ability to generate like that. Like that's why we talk about the digital bag. That's why we talk about generational wealth. What I'm doing in that hour is I'm transferring information. When I transfer information, I also transfer competence. When I transfer competence, I also transfer confidence. And when I transfer confidence, I transfer activity. Right. And that's exactly what's happening when I step on that stage. And that's why individuals is like, hey, you know what? I'll pay you this amount for this hour of time. And so we got to.
I heard some lights, camera, action in that, Isaiah. I heard a little lights, camera, action.
You better go. But we have to look at ourselves and we got to be like, hey, how much do I value me to invest in me to fix this up here, to change this right here, the body, the movement, the actions, so I don't find myself with a $15, $10, $20 an hour. Is just a question. Is minimum wage still like, I think I checked not too long ago, minimum wage here in Texas was still like $7.25?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's, man, come on. You know what I'm saying? So without investing in you, you're going to find these companies are paying above just the minimum wage. This is what the government believes that you're worth. You know what I'm saying? This is what the government said. Hey, everybody's worth at least $7.25 an hour.
And here's the thing about building generational wealth. I want to make sure we make clear. We are not saying that there won't be hard times. We're not saying there will be risk involved. Entrepreneurship, you may have 10 businesses fail before you hit the one that becomes a revenue stream. But that's just what it takes. I'd rather go through that and deal with that than sit up here and be a wage slave for anybody any longer.
Man. Hey, gems drop because look, y'all, I can't tell you how many organizations I worked for, generated millions of dollars for them, just for them to look at me and be like, oh man, what is this guy? We can replace him anytime. We can replace him anytime. I was like, you know what? Got to do something different. And it started with developing myself, y'all. I'm telling you. And after I developed myself, I had to say, hey, look, I'm going to convey. I'm going to communicate this information. Look, this information, when we're talking about generational wealth, we're talking about making sure like your information is functional. And then we become individuals that disciple information out. We give that information to the next generation. We give it out to the people that's around us so we can grow and expand. I'm not a gatekeeper, man. People ask me a question, I'm going to give them an answer. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to be. We can't be gatekeepers of the information. We got to give it out. We got to be able to support individuals. And I think that's the same thing. Oh, snaps. Look at this. This statement says, did you know servers make $2.13?
Yes, they do.
It ain't no way that should even be allowed in today's planet.
$2.13. And that's, man, come on, man. That's, anyway, you know what?
People, what is real generational wealth to y'all? Because that don't sound like it right there. I don't know.
That's bold.
Oh, and y'all, by the way, we are talking real generational wealth. To me, y'all, this sounds a little bit like the Matrix. I don't know if y'all see how to exit the Matrix. Everything we gonna talk about is exiting that old Matrix. Hey, and
it's numbers.
And one thing I realized before we can exit the Matrix, we have to know what the Matrix is. So that's what you would be getting from the Money Machine podcast, y'all. Unloaded We gonna give you real conversation that leads to solution. We gonna talk. We can tell you how to get the bag,
Yeah,
but it probably be a little beneficial for you to know what game we playing. First of all, before you get out here running all across the
absolutely,
field, and you're
absolutely.
supposed to be on the court. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's that lights, camera, action, man. Like
That's
I got,
lights, camera, action, people,
I
and
got,
we ain't finished yet. We got a couple of perspectives here. I like to share these people who post because we do appreciate y'all perspectives. Brother
yeah,
Eli
yeah.
say all you have to do is go to a notary, start a trust, and have your living insurance payout invested in an index fund, and have the interest paid out to next of kin. Okay, well I'm about to look into that. We appreciate that,
We gonna
Jim,
log,
because
we gonna log that. We gonna log that gym, and we might do a podcast on some of this
yeah, we
information.
got we will. We're gonna talk about all this, y'all. Real generational wealth conversations, assets, and
And look,
mindsets.
and
Oh,
look,
assets and mindsets.
Eli's smart, man. I like that information. Think about this too. Me and my wife, we both notaries. We decided both of us going to be notaries. You know, you can become a notary. This is another bag because you can be a digital notary, by the way. But you could become a notary and earn money just by sitting down, having witnesses, and making sure people sign papers and stamping some things. Just getting
Yeah,
the information, man. People don't get that. People don't get that. There's different avenues to get resources, and those resources will lead to new different things, new environments, new rooms, and those rooms are avenues for you to really propel your business or your thoughts, your ideas. And there's a whole lot of places available for us. So look, I had a couple other questions for you, George. Just kind of looking at what type of people you're looking to partner with for
yeah.
resources and things like that, like for Meta Association.
Well, we're always looking for donations. That's the most ardent thing we need right now, because I've been doing this for 6 years and paying out of pocket for it. And we're looking for people to contribute in terms of grants, other organizations looking to institute some programs or to co-partner on a grant. But right now, we're just looking for donations. In my tag, you see our Cash App tag. You know, that's the quickest way to get some to us to kind of keep our lifeblood pumping. But there's any organization that wants to delve into mental health or black male mental health or recidivism or fatherhood, contact me at 214-810-6518. Let's collaborate.
Yeah, so I like that. So if we got some grant writers watching, viewing our podcast, we want you to chime in. Make sure you get in touch with brother George Brooks. Man, he got some great things taking place in our community as a whole. Looking to support so many different avenues, not just mental health.
Passionate about it
Yeah,
all the time.
passion,
Own it,
passion.
own it.
Yeah, and
Mental
so
health. You hear me?
hey, all day, all day. I want you guys to make sure you reach out to them. I mean, because grant writers, partnerships, people who have that pocket in your organization of financials that you need to get off before October. Holler at
Yeah.
my guy.
And why we got a few watching, George? Let these folks know what that's going to help you do. What are you trying to do with these donations? What are you doing with these donations?
Keep our website up. Keep the email up so the email address still works. Pay for one cell phone that we use for the nonprofit.
And I'm saying the bigger, because I don't know if they know what you're talking about. So I just wanted to run you down.
The thing is, with a lot of nonprofits is that what they need is the day to day things. As far as bigger things, we're looking to bring in grants for things like a mentoring program. I'm going to be national director of a drug prevention program for 8th grade boys.
There you go.
Come on,
that's what I want to hear.
I'm developing a mental health program. I'm not a mentoring program that's going to be nationwide. It's going to be virtual. So I'm developing all these things right now. But, just real talk, it's hard to kind of focus on that and do that when you're worried about, things like that. So I want people to remember that when it comes to these nonprofits, because a lot of these are run out of pocket, especially starting out. So man, can a person run this now? Maybe they need gas and they kind of literally get to the post office to mail out their flyers. If you don't think of it like a community, if you don't think of it organically, you can't really know what we need to support us. But we definitely got the big programs going. We got the big stuff going. We got the appetizers going. So
your aim is a lot on mental health.
Oh, it's on mental health. It's a lot on mental health. It's all about mental. Because I've had my own mental health struggles in life. That's why I'm so passionate about it. I got a 19-year-old son that was diagnosed with bipolar at age 7. Raising him was hard. I went through that. I went through watching, emotional distress with people around me. But I went through watching my father, who served time in the penitentiary, and my brother-in-law, I saw the struggles they had when they came out. I saw the fact that they would get they weren't able to go out and get a good job that could sustain them.
Yeah.
It just wasn't gonna happen, and then they would get taken advantage of on these jobs. I ain't got to pay you this. You got a record. What you gonna do? I saw that up close, so that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. And our third tenet, fatherhood. I'm a father. I've always been a father. I love my two boys. I raised them. I'm close to them now. It's something I'm important about because I did not have the best relationship the first half of my father's life with me.
Yeah, same here.
Really, really hard. Really, 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 really hard. But I got over that and I healed from that trauma. Now I can appreciate what he was trying to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how you get to where you know what they're trying to do. They just don't know how to bring that out of you as a son. I know what that feels like now. So being a father is something in the passion that I'm enjoying. So I want to help my brothers out there. Let's get together and talk about how to be better fathers. You know what? I tried this with my son. Oh, I tried this with my son. Have those kind of conversations because that's how you build up the community. Yeah. And you don't have the community, how can you build generational health? Health and wealth.
Oh, there you go. Generational health is generational wealth, and generational wealth is generational health, and that's what I like to make sure y'all understand. Oh, it ain't the money is. Oh man, it's deeper than that.
Yeah.
Once we take care of what we really supposed to be taking care of, the money is the comeback. You hear me?
Secondary. And look, I want to bring this comment right back up. Eli said, some people don't understand generational wealth has nothing to do with us. It's about our children and their seed having financial freedom and becoming better than us. And this is something that my mom always told me. She said, I want you to be better than me. She always said it. And when she teach in ministry, when she teach in personal professional development, I want you better than me. It's always propelling the next generation to be greater than the one that's current. And so when we have this thought process, man, we become prudent. We really become prudent because now we're not thinking about now, we're thinking about the future, right? We're thinking about down the line. That's what generations is. Like if I'm talking about generation, so one of my favorite things to do is break down words. When I talk about generation, I'm talking about generate, right? What are we generating, right? What are we producing? And so now I look at my babies, I look at my family, my produce, like the product of who I am. I look at that product and what are they going to produce? And how can they produce better than me? And how can I make sure that happens? And so one of the things that I like about Meta Association is that I'm making sure this happens for somebody else. Like we're putting ourselves in a position to make this happen for someone else. And y'all, if y'all didn't hear it very well, I'm pretty sure he said it pretty clear, but I'm going to just reiterate. Like it takes a lot of back end systems to make things happen, and nonprofits don't have the financials that all these other businesses have. Yes, we put things together. Yes, we out there on the grind hustling. Yes, we making art, but it takes community. It takes you to support organizations like Meta to really propel this dream, this idea, this vision to make the impact. And look, it's not going anywhere. George has been around 6 years and he's been doing it and pushing it and making sure people are benefiting from it. And look, we're asking you because we got George here. We know him personally, y'all. We literally got an opportunity to sit down, have conversations with George, be in the same atmosphere with George, understand his vision. He communicate. We locked in on what he's doing throughout social media and in the community. So we want you to lock in. And if if his vision connects with your values, if his vision connect with who you are as a person, make sure you lock in. Make sure you go down.
I'm trying to point at the Cash App thing just in case they're looking for it, George. My arm ain't long enough to fit in your screen.
Make the donation. Reach out to George. Partner with him on some grants. And look, let's see this grow. Next time George pop on, I would love to hear some success stories about him partnering with other individuals who was at this podcast, who saw this podcast, and continue to build those relationships forward. So again, man, we appreciate the knowledge, man, the passion,
the light.
Yeah, the light, man. What you do,
the camera, the perspective.
I'm sure others.
And I know we're gonna get some action.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, but one thing, George, like I say, man, my gathering of life information, man, this real generational wealth starts with self, people. It is our responsibility. We've seen that pop up multiple times. Self, to consume, become, to position ourselves to pass. But a lot of this starts with that mental mental health. Yeah, mental health is your wealth. This is the generational wealth that we're talking about and that we will continue to talk about on the Money Machine podcast. So, I don't know what's about to happen after I get through talking, but George, we really appreciate the energy, the light, and the perspective, my brother. You hear me? And like my boy Isaiah say, we would appreciate y'all reaching out to George, man. Yeah, that's what we're here to do. People create community vibrations, community energy that does lead to solutions. We ain't gone yet, so check out this comment over here. Oh, my bad. Now, we really appreciate the perspective and the energy, George, and what you're doing. Like I say, I see you out. When I see you out, I know what you're up to, and it's the same thing you've been up to, continuing up that hill and creating the path, the downhill path, my brother.
Right.
So you all appreciate it. You hear me? Major piece of the pie.
Thank you.
And I like pie.
Look, we appreciate your perspective, your insight, and your imagination, sharing your thoughts, ideas with us, with everyone who will tune in, who has tuned in to this podcast. George, man, again, tell them where they can find you. Tell them how they can contact you. Tell them what they can do to continue to support the vision.
Well, you can reach George P. Brooks with Meadow Association at 214-810-6518. You can also email me at gbrooks@meadowassociation.org. And if you'd like to donate, let me say this, all donations to us are tax deductible. Cash App at $Meta, METTA Association. So I want to thank you, gentlemen, for having me on. Anytime you want me on, I'm going to drop what I'm doing. And thank you all for listening.
Absolutely. We appreciate you, man.
All right.
Good gems, good perspective, good lights. You hear me, brother Isaiah?
Hey, look, I'm excited. I'm excited. George came in and brought some crazy information, some detailed information that we didn't know, right? And I'm pretty sure some of us who are watching didn't have some of that information either. So it really sparked the conversation about generational wealth. We got the comments popping. We really appreciate everybody jumping into the comments. Continue to dive into the comments. If you're seeing this live or if you're seeing this for the replay, we will engage with you. We appreciate all of the engagement. And look, we look to continue to have these real strong conversations because, look, regardless of the outcomes of what we feel should happen, you get to make the decision. You know what I'm saying? You get to make the decision. So our objective is to present the information, make it available for each and every one of you, and you make the decision and make the best decision. We want you to be competent in your decisions. We want you to be able to have joy in your decisions by having the right information. And sometimes we make decisions and it's kind of taskful because I don't know. Well, get a little bit more information. Close that gap. It might not be 100%. It might be 80. It might be 60. But get more information. Don't go from zero and make a decision. Get something and make a good decision and increase the probability of better outcomes.
Man, you say the probability, not the possibility. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Those are two good words, but as y'all know, probability is a little more what we're talking about here. And I love the comments. I love the engagement. People, we really appreciate y'all perspectives. I'm going through these comments over here. Make sure y'all go through these comments. It's gems in here. We got a couple of people that shared individual gems, and that's what we want. People, drop them gems in the comments so other people can come back and consume that information. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Y'all make sure to drop y'all YouTubes in the comment. This is a feed that people will come back and engage with as they replay. Yeah. And hey, man, that's what we're doing on the Money Machine podcast, Unloaded. We will have these conversations that get a little uncomfortable. But at the same time, we're going to have these conversations that lead to solution and real generational wealth. I see a nugget over here, man. I'm going to pop it up real quick because I need y'all. I'm going to read it real fast. My parents have their house. What did it say? My parents have their house to get transferred to my name, and I have it transferred to get to my sons with that condition that the house can be sold under the year. Okay.
Until the
they got some gems over here, man.
And the life insurance interest to get put in an escrow to pay property taxes with a $6,000 that.
That's what I'm saying, baby. We got
that way, man. I see it that way.
We got gems in here. I'm gonna give you all of them. Y'all go through these comments.
There's quite a few different things popping up in the comments. Look,
Drop y'all gems, baby. Drop these
Man,
gems
we
because we gonna
appreciate
go
you
through.
jumping in. Yvette, we appreciate you coming in. Melinda, we
We do.
appreciate you coming in. Melissa, we appreciate
Yvette,
you coming in.
Melissa,
Who jumped in earlier? We had
Deshaun.
Deshaun popping in. We had Kenneth popping in.
Yep.
Look, a lot of people popping in, and we want your perspective, your insight, and imagination on the topics that we're talking about. We're talking about generational wealth and how do you attain it? How do you attain it? And we would like your answer to these questions. We talked about 3 keys today. We talked about lights, camera, and action. What is your vision about it? How are you crafting your angles, and what actions are you going to put in place to make it happen? Okay, make it happen.
To make it happen,
you have to do something. Like it's not just gonna come to you. You have to do something.
No, it's not, people.
Yeah, man. I talk about this all the time, EJ. We got to put ourselves in different places to create these new opportunities. We have to do it.
Yep.
If you say this, I don't have any opportunities. Ask yourself, where have you went? Who have you talked to? Right, and that's really the biggest thing, because if I go to different places, every place has a condition, right? Every environment has a condition. If I meet those environments, it produces an opportunity. If I meet those conditions in those environments, it produces an opportunity. And so the same thing happens with people. If I go talk to different people and our values align, it creates opportunity. We have to really put ourselves in position, and that means that we have to move. That means that there's action to be done on our behalf to see results.
It is, people. And it's a guarantee. Y'all don't worry about all that, man. Get to moving. The lights is this. We are giving you the light. We are passing you the light. You are the light. That's the easy part, baby. You ask and you shall receive. You hear me?
Look at that.
That is gonna change your camera. What you aim at is gonna change your perspective. So be intentional about the information you consume, people. Y'all know what we on. We will be here to pass it to you. Feel free to join us at any time. Y'all know we got a few things going on collectively. We got a couple of workshops. We got a couple of tools and different situations that will lead y'all destination. So hey,
question. Has anybody joined us on our social media content creation challenge? You know, that's the question. Have you joined us on the challenge? Have you been?
Do you want to join us on the challenge?
Do you want to join us on the new challenge? Right. This is the thing. We want to make sure we drive some higher levels of engagement and start putting some things practical things in place for you to start creating avenues for you to get that digital bag, to literally start increasing your avenues to generational wealth and access the actions that's going to really create the impact that you need to see the outcomes that you desire. Gotta exit the matrix. Gotta get out.
This is how, baby. This is how. Come on, baby. Follow us.
I know that movie, The Matrix, man, was a really, really good outline of how things are. People are calling.
Hey, let me before you say that, let me drop this, Isaiah, because I actually looked it up in old Chat GPT. I just asked a general question. What I said was, you know, though technology, you know what I'm saying? But what I said was, what is the biggest illusion of the Matrix? I didn't say the movie necessarily, because y'all know I understand the connection and all this. And it said, in the context of the movie The Matrix, the biggest illusion is the perception of reality itself. It says the film explores the idea that what we perceive as reality in actuality is actually a simulated world created by machines to subdue and control humans. This illusion of reality keeps people unaware of the true nature of their existence, living their lives under false premises. Lord have mercy, look at the connection here. The movie challenges the characters and viewers alike to question what is real and what is merely a construct designed to manipulate. Woo!
That's pretty.
And I said, what is the biggest illusion of the Matrix? And I think that pretty much answered.
That's pretty thick. That's pretty.
I mean, it said, let me see. The biggest illusion is the perception of reality itself, people.
So that statement alone, man, it's packed, it's loaded. So you think about perception, and we all have our own, right? And then you think about reality. There's only one. So that's think about it. Like we think about all these different things. We got information, and based on the information I have, I create this perception of what's going on. But what's going on is actually going on. Whatever's going on, reality itself is taking place, but the way I see it is not necessarily always the way it is. And, that's happening for each and every one of us. And it could be on the reverse, right? Reality may not even be reality for some, but there's, I don't want to go crazy. I don't want people going crazy. Think about like the Matrix, but like what we're trying to do is help you tap into your perspective, your insight, and your imagination, because it's the volume of your value. It's unique. Nobody else has it, and nobody else can get it unless you give it to them. And so it's time for you to start projecting that information out there and start creating avenues for wealth, creating streams of income, and really making an impact in your own life and the lives of individuals that'll follow you.
Oh yeah. Well, hey man, that's hey, that you just said it all, brother. And my people, your perception will give you a certain view of reality. And the biggest illusion of the Matrix, which we're all in the Matrix, and a lot of it is mental, is the perception of reality, people. So if you're not intentional about creating your perspective or your perception, you will be receiving a perspective or a perspective or a section, whatever the options is, that's gonna push you down the trail, people. But y'all know, like the folks on the half side of the cup, we can and we do create our perspective to see the reality that we want, people. So you know what I'm saying? We don't get deep into it, but we do create our reality, and a lot of what we're doing is helping you with a certain perspective that's going to create the reality you're looking for, baby. That's what we do on the Money Machine Podcast, Unloaded, season 2.1. What episode is this? I forgot. 4. Episode 4. We appreciate y'all tuning in, people. Once again, go through these comments, man. If y'all need us, y'all know where we at and where we're gonna be. That's all I got to say.
That's it.
That's all I got to say, people.
We'll see y'all next week.
We will, y'all. We out. Thank y'all for tuning in.